What's up, guys? My name's Noah. I make music as Haterade, and you are watching The Productive Producer. Today, we're not jumping into Ableton. We're going to be talking about motivation. Chances are you clicked on this video, you are not feeling motivated to produce, and you're trying to figure out how other people stay motivated to produce music all the time, which seems like all the time. The truth is, producing music right now in 2021 is more competitive than it's ever been. There are so many resources out there, teaching materials, sample materials, just music making materials out there that are so accessible. That means the barrier of entry is much lower, and there's going to be a lot more producers vying for the upper echelon. And that's a good thing. It pushes the rest of us to be better as well. But that also means you can't be lazy. If you want to make music a career, you have to work hard at it, and you have to work consistently. If it was ever possible to be lazy in the music industry, it's not anymore. It's just impossible at this point. So I can't speak for everybody, obviously, right? I'm only one person, but I want to share my experience, my personal experience in going full-time in music and basically outsmarting motivation, and share with you some of the tips that I have for getting through the motivational hurdle. The first is ask yourself why you're producing in the first place. Then write it down. There's no wrong answer to this one, even if you want to be rich and famous. I mean, I would argue that there are much easier ways to be rich and famous than being in the music industry. But if that's your reason, then go for it. If that's what drives you and gets you motivated, there's no wrong answer here. Your reason why you do anything is the best motivator because it's personal to you. If you just make music for fun, you don't need motivation. Right? If you're not trying to push your music to the next level and get to that next level as a musician, you don't have to worry about putting in the hard work. Just do it whenever you feel like it. But for those of you who want to be pros, for those of you who want to get better, you have to put in the work and you have to find that reason why, because sometimes it's going to be hard and sometimes you're not going to want to do it. Second point is know that you don't have to do all of it today. Earlier, I was talking about how the barrier to entry into the music industry has been lowered substantially. Now, people can make music on their iPads. That's true. But that also brings in a whole ton of people who are just dabblers, people who aren't really serious and who usually will give up at the first sign of any sort of challenge or difficulty. So just by showing up on a consistent basis, not even improving, you've already beaten out a lot of the people in the talent pool. Essentially, that just means you don't have to be the best today. Technically speaking, in order to make a living in music, you don't have to be the best at all. I make my living in music and I'm not the best. Not even close. There's always going to be somebody who's better than me. Letting go of that feeling of I have to be the best is a huge weight off your shoulders. You just need to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. Even if you only produce 30 minutes a day, that's going to be way more than your buddy who only produces once every couple of weeks and makes a song once every 3 or 4 months. That 30 minutes a day is going to compound over time. So you don't have to have monumental leaps in your production process, just little bit by little bit. Number 3, look back at your past work and compare it to your new work. Most of the time, we producers, we play the comparison game. Our stuff is never good enough because it's not as good as so-and-so. Well, we could talk about how good is sort of a relative term to begin with, but even then, even if it wasn't, it's really not fair to compare to someone else because they have a completely different experience than you. The people we compare to may have had more time producing. They may have gotten started earlier. They may have had more education and more experience. They may have a better network to learn from other people. Maybe they have access to different tools that we don't have. Don't get me wrong, it's really great to aspire to levels higher than where you're at right now. That's part of life. Wanting to improve is why you're watching this video right now. It just becomes damaging when you are only looking at other people's work and comparing it to your own. The majority of your comparison should be made on your past work. You're working on a track right now and you're feeling kind of lame about it. Look back at what you were making 6 months ago. I can promise you what you're making right now is going to be better than what you were making 6 months ago. Use the comparison of your old work to show how far you've come and let that be a motivator. Also know it's not easy to get to where you are today. Even if you just started, even if you just have only made a couple of beats, there are so many people out there who want to do something, they want to try making music, but they just don't because they tell themselves they don't have time, they don't have money, they don't have this, they don't have that. They have a billion excuses for not even starting. And you have started. Okay, you guys watch The Productive Producer. You guys know that every time I give tips, there's always a bonus tip, right? For those of you guys who watch all the way through. Bonus tip number 4, plan your production sessions ahead of time. This is one that admittedly I was very bad at. I was so terrible at prioritizing my production time. I would always push it back for stuff that's more urgent or more fun, and I would rarely get music done. Once I started planning ahead and outlining how much time I'll be spending producing and using that time as focused production time, my output skyrocketed, went through the roof because I prioritized it. Because ahead of time, I said that this is the time I'm going to be working on music and nothing could get in the way, like apart from something that was absolutely just too urgent to ignore. And that way you don't have to worry about feeling motivated when it's time to produce. You already set that time out. You're gonna produce at that time no matter if you're motivated or not. And usually it's just like going to the gym. You show up, you're not motivated, but once you get started, you start to feel motivated again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Remember, these are just tips that helped me. I hope they can help you in the same way that they did for me. If you watched all the way to the end, please consider clicking like on this video and subscribing. I make videos every single Friday and Tuesday. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday for the quick tip. Peace.